So today I'd just like to take a few minutes to talk about floor preparation before you put your carpet in. Now everybody's circumstance is going to be a little different. I don't address major problems with the floor like if you need a complete patch panel or anything like that. But the few minutes of video that I have following this kind of shows some of the procedures that I took to get my floor ready. The one thing that I did use on the floor was this Eastwood rust converter, and after you get your floor sort of prepped, all the crap off of it, wire wheel for the heavy stuff, the rust and all that, this is kind of good to put down for a couple coats. It kind of seals the floor, and it kind of seals out moisture and for rust developing even further. So this stuff isn't bad. So after I got my floor all prepped, my next step was to put the carpet in, which will be the topic of the next video. So we're just about all sanded down on the floor, cleaned up. I'm going to get ready to put down a rust converter, just brush it on. All the loose stuff, loose scale, loose rust, all knocked off. Got most of everything cleaned to where it's acceptable to me. I still got a couple of little problem areas, one on the passenger side of the back seat and a couple little pinholes on the driver's side, which isn't too bad. So I've got a plate made up for the back seat area, and then I'm just going to fill in the few pinholes that are on the floorboard by the driver. It's not that bad. Otherwise, I'm just going to, like I say, I'm going to put the rust converter down, and then I'm probably going to put a top coat on that, and then the floor should be ready. So this is the Eastwood rust converter, and right now I'm just putting a coat on in the back area. So you want to put two coats of this on. The first coat, once it turns black, you know it's kind of dry, it's dry. Then you can put a second coat on, then you got to let it cure, I think for 48 hours, and then you can put your top coat on. And the floorboards are now primered, a full coat of primer on them, and then we'll be doing one top coat. And then the floors will be just about done. So the next step after getting the floor all prepped is place down some sound barrier / heat barrier material. I got this stuff about 10 years ago from Eastwood. I don't even know if they still have it. It's got a butyl backing and a foil top. You're going to need a roller like this to really get down there and get everything rolled once you stick it down to the floor. Getting in all the gaps, getting it down as best you can. So, I bought, like I say, I bought this about 10 years ago. I don't have enough of the stuff, so I ended up purchasing some Kilmat. This is a product called Kilmat. It's very similar to the products you can find, Dynamat or Hushmat or Xmat, and you know it's still got this tar-like backing on it. So you just put that, peel the paper back, put that down on the floor, and then you're going to want to use a roller similar to this, whatever you can find, and rub really hard to get all the air pockets that you can out of it, because you know how the floor is, up and down, up and down, up and down. A lot of grooves and channels. So just make sure when you put this stuff down that you get it settled in as best you can. And you might need a couple size rollers. I got two different size rollers. Let's try fitting the piece in. Try to pre-cut whatever you can and sort of pre-fit it to see how it's going to go. You can always trim a little bit later. Press down nice and hard so the dimensions won't change much. if you got a long piece, start peeling back the paper. Don't peel it all off at once. Peel it back a little at a time, and then just peel it as you go. This piece isn't very big. The pieces I had from Eastwood were much bigger. So I'm going to try just peeling maybe half of it back. I don't know how much of this is going to show on the camera, but we'll give it a try here. And it's very sticky, so once you touch it to the surface, it's probably going to stick pretty good where you don't want to try to move it later. Probably got one shot at this. And then where you get it just about where you want it, then start pressing down on it. And like I say, try to get the gaps, all the air gaps out. And then as you go, just take your roller and roll it into that pan. Get it to fit as best you can. Like I say, without the air pockets. And then as you move along, you can peel back more of the paper as you go. I'm sure you've seen enough videos of this stuff. Believe me, it's messy. It's not... It's a messy procedure. I mean, it's like a tar-like substance. It gets on everything. And press it in a little more. Make sure we get it rolled down good. Peel the last of it back. And anything, you might have to do a little trimming, but this is essentially how it goes in. And it's supposed to have good heat and sound barrier qualities to it. And then you can take your utility knife. You got to do a little bit of trimming to get everything to lay flat. And you're in pretty good shape. Okay, so I finished up my floor with this Kilmat stuff. It's pretty nice. It's cheaper than most anything else I could find. If you notice too, there's a lip. I don't know if I can show this, but there's a lip. A little bit of the foil is showing above the tar. This is nice because you'll find out, especially if you're putting this stuff in and it's really warm out, some of this tar-like substance can ooze out a little bit when you're putting this stuff down. And it is really sticky. It gets on everything. So I think this little bit of lip helps. They must have been thinking about that. Of course, you're going to make so many cuts and stuff, you're going to lose that little lip. Anyhow, so what you should do is, and this is what I've had stuff like this for a long time. It's like an aluminum tape, and you can get it at Home Depot because a lot of the insulators with ductwork and stuff, they use this stuff to seal up the joints. So just run this stuff over the seams when you get this stuff installed, because it'll save you if you're not really fast to put your carpet in next or whatever, because some of this tar-like substance can ooze over time, and it gets, like I said, real sticky and it's hard to get off. So just run this tape along your seams and that'll cure that problem. Okay, so I guess it's on to the carpet.